I'm Daria Shields. Welcome to my kitchen. Today I will share with you a really nice autumn soup recipe using some oyster mushrooms. Autumn is really an amazing time of the year. All these beautiful colors of leaves changing. The atmosphere is really ripe and the smells are really amazing. I come originally from Poland, as I mentioned to you in the previous videos. So picking mushrooms is something that we do every year, especially after a couple of days of good rain. When the sun comes out, then you can find a lot of mushrooms in the forest, all various types. So today I'm going to use oyster mushrooms. And I would like to really invite you to start using more mushrooms in your cooking. They have incredible properties. And we sort of, I can observe that in the last couple of years, there's definitely way more talk about mushrooms and their medicinal properties. But still, there's a lot of people that don't realize that. And definitely, this is one of the food products that we should include as much as possible in our diet. And as we come towards the winter and towards the flu season, having mushrooms in our diet will really help us with boosting our natural immunity. They are packed with beta-glucans. They're polysaccharides, and they help us to strengthen our immunity. Oyster mushrooms in particular, they are amazing antibacterial, antiviral. Even with bacteria that are resistant to certain antibiotics, oyster mushrooms seem to work very, very well, like with E. coli infections. So it is worth it, really, for many reasons, to include them in the diet. And also, they are absolutely delicious. And there's so many different recipes that we can create using mushrooms and various different types of mushrooms. Today we have the oyster mushroom, and the soup that I'm going to make, it's a really nice broth. Where we're going to use different spices. And it's a warming, comforting soup that makes you feel very, very good after eating it. And the flavors are amazing. So mushrooms have a very meaty texture and also add this meaty flavor. So if you're trying to transition to more vegetarian diets, they are great. I don't even know how to call it, a species. I can't call it a vegetable. They're really interesting. So we are actually more related to mushrooms than to plants, which is an interesting fact. Also, mushrooms contain vitamin D. And actually, if you purchase them and you expose them to the sunlight, you will at least double the amount of vitamin D inside of the mushrooms. So again, another great, property of this incredible species. So in this recipe, I'll just talk you through the ingredients that we're going to use. So obviously the oyster mushrooms. We're going to use some carrot. We're going to use onion. We're going to use some garlic. And then spices. We're going to use some marjoram and some turmeric. And then seasoning, salt and black pepper. And that's it. And forgotten, the parsley to garnish at the end. And parsley also brings a lot of, health properties, but a lovely flavor as well. And the speckles of green look also very inviting when you present it. So let's get to it. So let's start, actually, I'm going to start with the onion. I already peeled some onion in here. So I'm going to chop it. So if I start crying, it's not because I'm sad. So just get yourself an onion. And the thing is that you can use white onion or you can use red onion. It's just a preference. So in here today I have a white onion. So I'm going just to cube it. That's it. We have that ready. We get some garlic. This is quite a big knife for peeling the garlic, but let me do that. Mind my fingers. Okay. And again, you can mince it or chop it, whichever you prefer. going to, that's it, and I'm just go over it all together. Okay, so we have that ready. I can feel my eyes starting to water gently. Okay, so I have the pan heating open here. I'm going to use some coconut oil. And I was explaining in the previous videos that coconut oil is, or clarified butter will be one of the best sources of fat when you're cooking, you know, when you're exposing the fat into higher temperatures, because they are stable, saturated fat, and this is really, really important. Other oils will get damaged, and they are not really healthy in that form. So if you know, are interested in changing this aspect in your cooking, these are the two fats that are much better to use in higher temperatures. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to place the onion and garlic on the pan. It's not super hot yet, but it will get there. Okay. Making a mess. And we're gonna add some spices. So before I chop the mushrooms, we'll just put onion, garlic, some spices to stir fry. And I'm not using a broth in this recipe. And actually, I hardly ever prepare the broth for the soups that I'm making. I very often stew the vegetables first with spices, and that really brings out the flavors. And then I add water. I transfer it to the pot and add water. And really, the flavor is really nice and rich, and it's incredible actually that this soup tastes like you would be actually using the broth. So I'm gonna add the marjoram, and this is actually a beautiful mix that has also some sumac in it, but you can use the marjoram itself. I love this particular herb. It's a herb that we use in Poland quite a lot in the soups, in the stews, in the roasts. It works very, very well, and as I was mentioning that in the previous videos, it really helps to increase the amount of digestive juices that our body produces. It helps to calm the digestive system, helps us to disperse the nutrients and make them much easier for our body to absorb. So I would definitely encourage you to use spices, and also spices are incredible. They have so many properties, you know, and they raise our vibration. So in the cuisines, like especially like Middle East cuisines, there's a loads of different spices being used, and this food is just absolutely incredible. Like this spice mix came from Iran, and this is definitely a place that I would like to visit at some point. The flavors that are used in this cuisine are just amazing. I'm totally in love with it. So these can just keep going in here, and I'm going to get to chopping these boyos. So our oyster mushrooms. So what I do with them, they have a very interesting stringy texture. So when you cut them actually lengthways, I'm gonna start with here, they very stringy, and in a way they remind me of a texture of chicken. So as I said, like if you're transitioning to more plant-based diet, these mushrooms will definitely remind you of texture of the meat. So you can see, even when you look at it, it's like, you know, chopping the chicken breast. So I'm using for the soup around 200 grams of oyster mushrooms. And this amount, like, you know, with 1 liter of water, will give you 4 medium-sized bowl of the soup itself. So, okay. So it's going to take me just a little while, but they're quite easy to chop. So I'm just going lengthways in here. There you go. can hear the onion and garlic and the spices cooking away. Almost there. Okay. And another spice that I'm going to pop into the pan just quickly is turmeric. So we know already how great turmeric is. I'm just gonna get a little spoon there. Pop a nice teaspoon of turmeric in. Okay. Perfect. Lovely. So I'm gonna pop the mushrooms in. Okay, you can see I'm not chopped properly. Pop the mushrooms in. And they can simmer away. I'm just gonna bring the heat up a bit. And I'm going to add some salt. And saute the mushrooms for a little while. Yeah, so it's very important to cook mushrooms well. They are quite difficult to digest otherwise. So when you cook them well, they really become much easier to digest. And especially when you're using the spices like marjoram, that really helps the digestion again, and turmeric too. So it's a really nice combination, and the flavors blend very, very nicely together. Now we're going to grate some carrot. I'm just gonna chop this and this. So you don't have to peel the carrots. These are beautiful organic carrots. I just scrub them very, very well, and I'm going to grate it. Okay. Making noise. Almost there. For building the muscles. Okay. So we have the carrot, and I'm going to pop it into the pan. Okay. Great. So it doesn't really take that much time to prepare an amazingly tasting soup. So we're going to stir fry it for a bit, so all the flavors infuse. And also, the little bit of oil with spices that really kind of allows to release all the goodness in the spices. The smell is amazing already. So we let it simmer away. Okay, and I'm going to prepare the parsley. So we're going to use the parsley for garnishing. So just chop it nicely. Parsley is an incredible herb. I was really in love with parsley when I was a child, and eating sandwich with a big bunch of parsley in between two slices of bread. Completely obsessed. It has loads of iron, magnesium, highly alkaline, and helps us to produce a very, very strong antioxidant within our liver called glutathione. So having that in the diet, it's a really great, tonic for our body. So we have everything ready. Now I just have to put the pot, add some water, transfer the mushrooms into the pot and just simmer for a little while till everything infuses. So let me stir fry that a little bit for another couple of minutes. Okay, that looks good. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to pop that in here and just get the pot. And we're going to transfer all this lovely stewed mushrooms and carrots, onion, garlic and spices into the pot. Great. I'll pop it at the back in here, and we're gonna add some water. Okay. So you want like more or less 1 liter of water for the soup. Okay, perfect. And we just let it simmer till it heats up nicely. When you bring it to a boil, lower the heat and simmer for about, 10 minutes. It's plenty, just for the flavors to infuse. And then at the end, we're going to season it and add some parsley. And then we are ready to serve. Okay, guys, I think we are ready to plate it. The soup is ready. The smell is amazing. The colors are gorgeous. They're actually really autumny as well. So I'm going to plate it. Actually, first I'm going to add a little bit of freshly ground black pepper. And again, adding black pepper, especially when we're using turmeric, that will help us to absorb curcumin from turmeric into our body. So, and it tastes amazing too. So I just mix it in and we are ready. So I'm going to pour it into a bowl. Lovely. Okay. There it is. And I'm going to sprinkle some parsley. And look at that. It's absolutely amazing. Lovely broth, really earthy, meaty, full of flavor, full of amazing properties. I'm gonna try it as well. I'm the lucky one in here. I can try it. So. Wow. This is really, really delicious. Amazing flavors. Again, it has all different surprises in here, and they just work very, very well together. It's like, walking through the forest and smelling all these different, foresty smells. And a lot of actually what we smell in the forest is the mycelium, the mushrooms. And this broth actually really represents that. It has this aspect within it. So I absolutely love it. I love this time of year for all this abundance of produce around that we can actually, forage from the forests as well. So I definitely would encourage you to get out and learn a little bit more about mushrooms and all the different things that we can actually forage from the forest or fields. There's so much abundance there right now. so many medicinal properties to support us as we are moving towards the winter season. Strengthening our immunity, lowering inflammation, keeping ourselves warm, helping our digestive system to work. All these things, it's everything is out there, you know, for us. The nature is forever giving and so abundant. So thank you so much for tuning into this video. Please check out other videos here on this channel, and I hope you'll be happy to subscribe to it. I wish you all the best. Much love to you all, and I will see you very, very soon. Take care. Bye.